It's the 6th year with Elias, I said. Elias, I'm getting married. He gave a start, abruptly pulling back his thoughts, looking difficult. Z, you know the company is in a critical phase of fundraising. I temporarily have no mind for. It's okay. I smiled flatly. Elias misunderstood. I was getting married, but not to him. Through the floor, to ceiling glass. I swept a glance at the direction Elias had been staring at, the corner of my lip pulling into a self-mocking smile. There was a time when he looked at me that intently too. During 4 years of university, he chased me for 3. I asked him what he liked about me. He smiled like a fool, saying he liked that I was good looking, that no one was as good looking as me. I didn't like fools, but later I was moved by his inner sincerity. Still, I didn't easily give in, but Elias didn't mind at all. He delivered breakfast to the dormitory building without fail every day. He calculated my menstrual period and started making brown sugar water for me 2 days in advance. If I looked at a necklace twice, he would seize every opportunity to work part-time and save money to buy it for me. When I was unhappy, he would rack his brains to tell jokes to amuse me. Even when I frowned, he would ask if I was feeling unwell. But in the end, nothing could defeat the childhood sweetheart. 2 months ago, his first love suddenly came to Jingqing to visit him. At the first meeting, I noticed that when he got along with Isla, there was no sense of propriety, but I thought Isla would leave after a few days of fun, so I didn't take it seriously. Unexpectedly, she became Elias's personal secretary and stayed in Jingqing. When I asked about this, Elias only said that they were just hiring, and it's better to keep the benefit within the family. But from then on, the number of times he went on business trips and worked overtime increased more and more. Staying out all night became a common occurrence. The day before yesterday, I went to the administrative department to check the attendance record, and found out that the two of them had long been inseparable. Business trips were taken by just the two of them, but the reimbursement invoices provided to the finance department only showed the cost of one executive suite. Don't even mention working overtime. When I came out of Elias's office, Isla at the door stood up from her workstation. She smiled brightly. Sister Z, why do you look so bad? Did you quarrel with Elias? I had no intention of getting angry with her and was about to walk past her. Mia, she called out to me, you're going to be 30 next year, right? Don't be as willful as a little girl anymore. Ruida Investment has been reluctant to agree on the financing, and Elias is already very worried. Even if you can't help him, don't distract him at such a critical moment. I slightly frowned, looking at her calmly. Isla, this company was founded by both Elias and me. If he can let you stay, I can also make you leave. You. She didn't expect me to be so tough and was taken aback, then said roundly, I was just kindly advising you. If you think honest advice is harsh, just don't listen. Why do you want to drive me away? Who dares to drive her away? Elias came out, his tone a bit cold. Z, she's just a little girl, and she's unfamiliar with the place. If she said something wrong, can't you be more tolerant? Little girl. I couldn't help but want to laugh. Isla is only 3 months younger than me. A surge of bitterness rushed to my eyes, and I took a deep breath. Elias, I'll give you a chance to choose. Either she leaves, or I leave. Elias, Mia, don't be unreasonable. I was slightly stunned. I was a bit dazed. I thought for a long time but couldn't remember the last time he called me by both my first and last name. Sister Z, do you misunderstand my relationship with Elias? We're just good friends who grew up together. Isla's eyes were red, looking poor at Elias. Elias, I heard that Sister Z comes from a good family, and must have been spoiled since childhood. You should let her more and don't quarrel with her because of me. I've been used to looking at others' faces since childhood. It's okay for me to work in another company. As long as Sister Z is happy, I can pack my things and leave Jingqing. Yuning. Elias didn't hide the trace of heartache in his eyes. I pulled the corner of my lip and left directly. When I walked out of the office building, I found that my vision had blurred without realizing it. I wiped away my tears randomly and took out my phone to make a call. The phone was answered quickly. My mother said rebukely, My dear, you finally remember you have a mother. How many days have you not called me? A full 3 days. Mom. I suppressed the sobs in my voice. Please tell Grandpa for me that I'm willing to go back for the arranged marriage. Really? My mother was a bit delighted, but then she felt something was wrong. Wait, what about that boyfriend you've been dating for several years? It's true that we hope you find a well-matched partner, but if he's gone, then. My mother didn't rush to ask the reason. Think about the arranged marriage for 2 more days. Although it's the partner your grandpa carefully selected for you, and the family is an old friend of ours, He's now managing an investment company under their family. But for marriage, Mom still hopes you don't act impulsively. Mom, I'm not impulsive, and I've already considered it. When I called my brother yesterday, he let it slip, and I found out that the family's capital chain was facing a break, and the arranged marriage was the best solution. Over the past years, the family has indulged me a lot. When I graduated from university, my father originally intended me to return to Beijing and take over the family business after several years of experience, but at that time, I was obsessed with love. For Elias, I had a big quarrel with my father and insisted on staying in Jingqing, just because my father said, "What can a poor guy like him give you?" I silently accompanied Elias to start a business, often drinking until the early morning for a contract. Unexpectedly, I didn't get Elias's loyalty. I only got a stomach that needed to be conditioned with traditional Chinese medicine. My mother sighed. "Then when are you going back to Beijing?" "In about half a month." After hanging up the phone, I looked back at the towering building, the corner of my lip curving into a bitter smile. "Elias, I gave you a chance to choose. You didn't take it. So, I don't want you anymore either." When I got home, I sat on the sofa for a long time. The problems in the relationship with Elias actually began to show up last month. At first, I couldn't figure out how feelings could change so easily. Every time I suspected the relationship between him and Isla, he would say, "You think too much. I only treat her as a younger sister, so I take more care of her." At first, I really believed it, because his kindness to me couldn't be fake, and I was convinced that he loved me. It was at a friend's party once when he was drunk, and I went to pick him up. I accidentally learned the reason from his equally drunk brother. Elias and Isla, they grew up together. Before Elias chased you, he even confessed to her, but she didn't agree. The friendship of childhood sweethearts can't be put down so easily. The reason he chased you is that you smile a lot like Isla. But don't worry, we brothers are all persuading him to be with you properly. That girl Isla probably thought he was poor before, and now that she sees his career is successful, she comes to him. The reminder sound of the health preserving pot boiling the traditional Chinese medicine finally brought me back to my senses. After drinking a bowl of brown traditional Chinese medicine, which was bitterly piercing, I looked around the home I had carefully decorated and made a hard stroke. On the calendar, there were still 14 days left. Then, I started to clean little by little. Jingqing and Beijing are one in the south and one in the north, and the luggage I can take is limited. The rest were all thrown away. I don't like my things being handled by others, especially by Elias's next partner. After going downstairs to throw things away twice, I was exhausted, and the rest could only be cleaned slowly. After taking a shower, I scrolled to a WeChat Moments post by Isla. During the day, he's a domineering CEO, and at night, he queues up to buy me a cake. He said he wants to make up for all the time he missed these years. So happy. The picture was of a strawberry cake, and on her hand holding the cake, she was loosely wearing a men's watch that didn't belong to her. It was a couple's watch with the women's one on my hand. At that time, I accompanied Elias to work overtime for several nights, and successfully completed the company's first big project. It was also this time that our reputation was completely established. Obviously, we only slept for a few hours in total during the week, but he was extremely excited. He pulled me to Mix C and bought this pair of couple watches that I had secretly saved photos of. I said no, it was too expensive. He insisted on buying it. After putting it on for me, he hugged me into his arms and said seriously, "Z, everything you like. I must give it to you with my own hands." He never took off this men's watch except when taking a shower or sleeping. His previous assistant was fired just because he accidentally got this watch wet. Everyone knew that Elias loved me. Looking back now, it's all a joke. No one knew that when he looked at me with those deep feelings, he was thinking of another person in his heart. I exhaled a breath, unfastened the watch buckle, took 2 photos casually, and listed it on Shanyu a second hand platform. Elias didn't come home again that night. The next day, I slept until noon before getting up to go to the company to handle the resignation procedures. After the company got on the right track in the past 2 years, I only took charge of the design part. Unexpectedly, on my way from the design department to the HR department, many people congratulated me. I was wondering when Sophia, who was in charge of HR, pulled me into the office. "Tell me the truth. Are you and Elias about to have good news?" "What?" I was confused. She was a senior in the company, so she didn't have scruples when talking to me. "No way. At this point, you still want to hide it from me, with such a big show from your Elias, who doesn't know he's going to propose to you." I frowned. "Wait, What's all this about? She covered her mouth. You really don't know. Could it be that Elias wants to give you a surprise? Speak clearly, just. She hesitated but finally chose to stand by my side and tip me off. Just now, someone saw a flower shop delivering flowers to Elias downstairs. The whole trunk was full of pink roses. It's not your birthday today, nor is it any anniversary. What else could it be except a proposal? Pink roses. I remembered that when Isla came to Jingqing 2 months ago, the flowers Elias bought to pick her up were pink roses. My fingertips silently ran across the palm of my hand. I pursed my lips and didn't speak. Sophia looked at my hand. What's this? I'm here to resign. As expected, she suddenly realized. It's a proposal, right? You're already preparing to step back and be a good wife and mother. Come on, let me sign for you. Okay. I didn't explain and handed over the materials. While signing, she complained. Elias is really something. He didn't even tell me in advance. Now I'm in a hurry. Where can I find a design director like you? You just need to get Elias to sign it again. After she signed, she handed it back to me and said sincerely, I don't know if your choice to return to the family is right or wrong, but as a friend for so many years, I wish you happiness. I hope Elias won't let you down. Okay, I will definitely be happy. It has nothing to do with Elias. Before entering Elias's office, I hesitated for a moment. It wasn't hesitation. It was that I hadn't figured out how to make him sign simply. After the company's personnel regulations were standardized, even I had to sign a labor contract retroactively. Plus, the position of design director was sensitive, and my family's business was somewhat related to this industry. If the resignation documents weren't handled properly, it would be troublesome when I returned to Beijing. I pushed the door open. Before the words I had considered could come out, I saw Isla sitting opposite Elias. That's why the workstation at the door was empty. She had already moved here. Isla saw me first. She patted Elias's head affectionately and said in a coquettish voice, Elias. Elias's voice was doting. Okay, stop making trouble. Let me finish reviewing this agreement first. No, I'm not making trouble. Isla looked at me provocatively before gently reminding. Sister Z is here. Elias leaned back, the distance from her, and looked up at me in a panic. Meeting my gaze, I ignored the stagnant pain in my chest and said flatly, Elias, there's a document that needs your signature. I handed over the folder along with it. Seeing that I didn't pursue his ambiguous interaction with Isla, he breathed a slight sigh of relief and nodded. Okay, Elias, then you two are busy. I'll go out first. Isla took the initiative to leave. Just as Elias opened the folder and I was about to say the prepared reason, Isla suddenly sprained her ankle and exclaimed, it hurts so much. Yuning. Elias no longer had the mind to work. He stood up and was about to rush over. I blocked him. Sign first. It won't delay you for a few seconds. He frowned. Mia, since when have you become so cold-blooded? Is this document that important? Elias. Isla squatted on the ground, holding her foot and crying. Elias had eyes only for her and didn't want to argue with me anymore. Without even looking at what document it was, he directly signed his name where I pointed. Perfunctorily. It was exactly what I wanted. I just wanted to complete the resignation smoothly and then leave the city, return to my original life track. Elias carried Isla to the sofa, held her foot, and checked it carefully. Fortunately, it's not swollen, but if it still hurts badly, I'd better take you to the hospital. It's not that serious. Isla shyly took back her foot and looked at me timidly. I left expressionlessly. Before getting into the car, I was stopped by Elias, who chased after me all the way. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing between me and her. I'm just taking care of her because of the friendship of growing up together. I nodded faintly and looked at his hand holding the car door, indicating that he should let go. I still have things to do. He was stunned for a moment. Aren't you angry? I smiled. Should I be angry? In the past, if I did this, you would definitely be angry, but didn't you still do it? I looked up and saw the unreserved panic in his eyes. Okay, I'm just kidding. Come home for dinner tonight. He suppressed his guilt and held my hand. I have a business dinner tonight, but I will definitely come home. I wanted to laugh, but I couldn't. It was as if even him coming home had become a form of charity. I had dinner outside before returning home to continue packing and cleaning. Only at this moment did I know that when disappointment reaches a certain level, I don't even want to leave any thoughts behind. I carefully swept away all traces of my existence in this home. I also touched Elias's room, but I only threw away some couple items I bought. Toothbrushes, cups, slippers, home clothes. Before I could finish, during the break, I received a WeChat message from Isla. Mia, look, After all these years, Elias still remembers that my favorite is pink roses. He's more careful than before. Thank you for cultivating such a good man for me. It's really cool under the tree planted by others. She also attached a photo. The Porsche I had chosen was filled with flowers in the trunk, and it was also elaborately decorated with light strips. For a moment, I clearly knew that the sincerity I had owned over the past years belonged to another person. Elias broke his promise. He didn't come home. For several consecutive days, he didn't come back once. It was when I called Sophia that I heard from her that Elias had gone on a business trip again with Isla, but this gave me more time to pack. On the calendar, there were only 7 days left. That day, when I was packing the luggage to take to Beijing, Sophia suddenly called. Z, did you fill in the wrong address for your express delivery?